One of the most common questions we've been getting lately from both prospective and current OneStream clients is they think they want to do something in OneStream, and the first question always is it possible? What can we do in there? And then the second question always is how are other clients doing that are satisfying these types of requirements? So kind of taking that guidance, we decided to make today's call a little bit more of functional in nature, talking about what those common questions are, how OneStream can handle satisfying all of those questions and requirements, and what are some of the design considerations that you need to consider as you try and build those things out or as you try and solve those problems. One caveat to that, each of these topics we're discussing, we're going to try and go through about 7 or 8 of them today. We obviously discuss these in a lot more detail during specific design sessions for clients. So I didn't want you to think that this is an exhaustive discussion about the topics. It's really just to try and give you a flavor of what those topics are and what are the common things that we're seeing as we're implementing OneStream to multiple clients. So today's agenda, I'll go through a quick Finit introduction, talk a little bit about the importance of design and why we spend a lot of time during the design phase of projects and how it helps you maximize your investment in OneStream. Then we're going to go through some of what those requirements that clients are satisfying using OneStream are. There's, like I said, 7 or 8 of them that we're going to try and cover today, and then we'll do a quick wrap-up. This is part 1 of the presentation. We're going to try and do another one in early 2016 where we get a little bit deeper into some of the topics, a little bit more maybe technical in nature in terms of the specifics about how you design and build these solutions inside the tool. A little bit about me. I've been with Finit for 11 years now. I realized as I was putting these slides together, it's been a while since I had done a webinar. I had to add the new addition to the family. That's Walter Thomas. He was born in September, so he's the newest member of the Finit family. And why we do what we do. I joined Finit in 2004, and 2 of the main things that attracted me to Finit when I started, and they're 2 of the things that I still love about Finit are, one, we get to solve problems. I think at our core that's what Finit really enjoys doing, is helping people figure out optimal solutions to the issues they're facing. The second thing that I really enjoyed about Finit and that I still enjoy is that we get to do it as a team. We get to do it as part of a Finit team. We get to do it as part of a client team. And using that mindset, I think, allows Finit to not just do projects for clients, but it allows us to create experiences and a journey with the people that we're solving the problems for. The values that guide us in that effort that we try and strive and hold accountable to are advocacy, so aligning with our clients' best interests. Because many of us come from backgrounds where we used to be end users of these products, it's a lot easier for us, I think, to empathize with what our clients are going through and the issues they're facing and the things they're trying to do and improve. Integrity. We're honest, candid, and collaborative. It's much easier, we think, to be candid and truthful with someone when you have a personal relationship with them and we have their best in mind. So we strive to form personal relationships with clients so that we can have those more candid conversations. Craftsmanship. At our core, we really do enjoy building stuff and applications. We enjoy getting our hands dirty. We love the technical side, the solutioning side of things. And delivery. At the end of the day, the solutions that we build are really our products. So it's one of the reasons we take great personal pride in that, is that's really what we have to show for our work at the end of the day. So we all strive to deliver exceptional solutions. Stewardship. We've maintained this trust and this relationship with these clients, over 225 clients up to date. And I think all of these values have allowed us to create those experiences for those 225 clients, and it's something we really strive for as we go forward. How do those values align across all of Finit? Just a couple sampling here. We use employees, not contractors. We found that it's much easier to align values across an organization when people are fully vested in that organization. So everybody at Finit is a full-time employee. We don't use a subcontractor model. We actively and continually seek feedback. Many of you that are current clients know that we send client feedback forms approximately every 6 months to get thoughts on how Finit's doing, how your consultants are doing. We use that feedback then to factor into our employee compensations. A lot of our competitors use a billable hours metrics to determine bonuses or compensation, and we think that's a direct conflict of interest to what we're trying to do for our clients. So we base it more on employees or client satisfaction as opposed to chargeability. We invest in training and growth in our consultants. Every consultant's allowed to take two weeks a year of training in both technical skills, functional skills, interpersonal skills to constantly be growing and evolving as the organization changes. We foster innovation and collaboration. We have an internal development team that works on solutions and macros and programs to help our lives, make our lives as consultants easier. And we also do a lot of collaborating. We have weekly calls, team calls, company calls where we share ideas and foster that shared knowledge environment. We're debt-free and we're committed to the success of our clients. This is one that we're pretty proud of too. We've never taken external money. We manage Finit all internally with active ownership. We have four main areas that we apply these values across: financial close and consolidation. That's more of your core external reporting, external consolidations. Financial planning is budgeting and forecasting. Profitability and management reporting, and then integration and infrastructure. Those are the four main practices that we have. Lastly, a couple of quick stats. We were founded in 2002. We now have 80 employees across 21 states. We provide solutions and support both during and after implementations. We offer something we call Finit Answers, which is our post-implementation support model, and that does apply to OneStream now. We have launched that. We have currently 2 clients that are part of our Finit Answers model for OneStream. It's kind of an ongoing support model, pay as you go, only as you need it does it apply. But we have a 100% project success rate across 235 clients. We're proud to say 19 of those now are OneStream, and 450 projects we've done across those clients, and 25 of those are OneStream. So what that tells you is a lot of our clients continue to use Finit as they continue to expand their investment in their products. Lastly, all Finit owners are actively involved in Finit's operation. We have no kind of outside ownership. Everybody is, myself included, are actively involved in projects and in running the business. Our standard Finit OneStream customer slide showing some of the logos there. So now we're ready to get into the meat of the presentation today. I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about the importance of design and something that I refer to as kind of a designer's dilemma. One of the most important jobs that we have as implementers is, as I mentioned earlier, is to help people solve problems. And sometimes I think there's a perception that implementing these systems is more of a commodity business or more of a one-size-fits-all type implementation. You need to do cash flow, here's how you have to do it. I feel like some implementers say those types of things because they say that there's only one way to do a particular thing. We don't believe in that approach because we don't think any client or any situation is ever alike. For the same reason, I've never seen 2 companies that have the exact same general ledger account structure or 2 companies that have the exact same annual report. Everybody has different needs, wants, and constraints. And depending upon those constraints, some clients may gravitate towards different solutions. So that dilemma that we're facing constantly is made up of three things on here. There's the desirability. What do you want the solution to do? What's the requirement that the solution has to satisfy? The second piece of that is a feasibility. Is it something we can technically do? Does the tool support it? Does your data support it? What are the constraints? Do you have the budget to take on what it's going to take to get that done? And the last piece of that is the solution sustainable. Are we designing something that can be maintained easily? And I feel like as designers, we're constantly trying to balance all 3 of these and make sure the client's aware of the impact of all of them. There may be something that clients want that is technically feasible. Yes, we can do it, but it's going to take us 40 hours a month to update an application or to update data sets or something like that to make it happen. Some clients may say that's fine because it's that important to us that we can do what we're asking the system to do. Other ones may say, well, we don't want to do that now. We'll wait till our source systems are better suited to handle some of that stuff. So that's why for all the topics we're talking about, we really just like to present options. It's hard for us to guess which ones are more important to you than others. It's hard for us to guess what your constraints are. So that's why this design discussion as we go through these topics is is so key and so critical to making sure we get the right solution to you. And then it allows us to be more flexible and build solutions that are catered to clients as opposed to trying to fit one-size-fits-all approaches into your organization. This is a quick snapshot of how we solve that dilemma. One of the things during that design process that we really believe in is our iterative design approach. We use it repeatedly through the project. Only by completing this design, prototype, evaluate, adjust process can we be sure that we're getting the right fit. Relying on prior experience in our old jobs, relying on client experience in previous implementations, not just with OneStream, but it's given us a background to be able to throw these options out there and try and vet them accordingly within the client. The other reason that we like this approach so well is that a lot of times the three things we were just talking about, it's tough to see the viability or the sustainability of products or solutions until you have them built. We can talk in a design session about how we can solve for something, but until you can get your administrator in there, until you can see it and see what the impact is going to be to building a report or doing your actual month-end process, it's hard to visualize the whole thing. So that's why we're strong believers in this iterative design approach as well. So now we've kind of given a little background about how we approach some of these requirements. We're going to go through some of them here, and the way I tried to lay them out is a quick discussion about what the actual requirement is. What do we mean when we talk about, in this example, supporting multiple charts of accounts? What are some of the key things that OneStream offers? What's stuff that's out of the box functionality that's available? What are things you have to design for? And then lastly, a little time talking through what are some of the things you need to consider as you're designing for this? What are some of the things that if you're planning on doing some of these things, what should you be thinking about heading into it that's going to help you make a decision on which option to pursue going forward? So the first one, multiple charts of accounts. What do we mean when we talk about chart of accounts? It can be your ERP or your general ledger chart of accounts. It could be your management reporting chart of accounts. What do you need to do for internal management reporting? External reporting, what does that chart of accounts look like? Quick example of that, cash in your Oracle general ledger might be account 1001, but on a external report you might want to just call it cash. That account structure is kind of what we refer to as the chart of accounts. And there's a couple different things we've seen clients ask lately. Some of them want to handle multiple charts of accounts in an application where they're unique base accounts. So they want to be able to do local chart of account reporting, which would be their general ledger reporting, versus they want to be able to do corporate reporting as well out of OneStream. So what does that mean from an application setup standpoint that can you do both, and how would you do it? The other one we've seen is more of an alternative chart of accounts. So somebody for external purposes wants to report something one way, but for management purposes they want to report it another. In those cases, they tend to utilize the same base accounts but roll them up differently. An example of that might be a management fee may roll up above operating income for external reporting, but for management reporting they don't want to include that as operating income because it's not something that the managers can control. So that's kind of what we refer to as an alternative chart of accounts. One thing to consider in any solution involving chart of accounts is the metadata maintenance. In order to do some of these things, it's good to have local governance and local communication so that if you're going to do local chart of accounts reporting inside of OneStream, you're going to want to make sure that as they add new accounts in there, that those are getting added to OneStream in a timely fashion as well. So one of the big drivers of that is in terms of sustainability is the communication and governance that goes into that. Some of the options are things to consider as you're thinking about trying to do multiple chart of account reporting inside of OneStream. Stage data inside of OneStream, which is where all the data gets loaded, that does provide local GL detail, and that does provide some analysis options out of there. So some clients, after looking at that, determine that, you know what, that does meet all of our local chart of accounts reporting. We can get what we need out of that stage data, and therefore they don't need to create all those local GL accounts inside their OneStream application. Other clients say we want to build it all in one queue. We want to store all of our chart of accounts. We want to have one external account called cash, and then if we have two different general ledgers, SAP and Oracle, we want to include both of their local ledger accounts underneath that. because to them that's more important than they need that visibility at the local level in OneStream. You could do it in separate cubes inside of OneStream. You can build one cube for your SAP chart of accounts. You could build another cube to do your Oracle chart of accounts, and then using the extensible dimensionality available in OneStream, you can have those come to a common cube systematically inside of there. If you're looking at the corporate chart of accounts versus business unit chart of accounts, it's another use case for the extensible dimensionality inside of OneStream. Having a single chart of accounts at a global level while still providing the local users their own chart of accounts down in the business unit level. So a lot of options to solving this requirement inside of OneStream. How you would approach this to help solve that, spending time understanding and determining what that level of detail is that's needed in local detail, who the users are going to be. Is it just one set of users? Does it apply to everybody that needs that visibility to it? Discover and finalize whether you can get to one common chart of accounts. What are the requirements driving management reporting look at something differently than external reporting? Could you convince the management reporting folks to use the external chart? A lot of back and forth in terms of those internal discussions to try and get to what you're really after with that single chart. Determining the other local detail beyond accounts. Is it other stuff from that source system? Are there local cost centers, products, customers, et cetera, that you want to report on as well, that it wouldn't just be an account discussion? And then lastly, once you kind of have all of that stuff, you'll sit down and you'll design the cube, the single cube versus multiple charts of accounts versus one, those types of things. So a little snapshot into how you would solve for the multiple chart of accounts requirement.